Bootcamp is about to begin. Rise up, it's time to log in. LP Army will teach you the way to be LP warrior starting this day. We live for the fees we make. Soon it is profits that you will take. The LP Army marches strong. The best in soul, and now we sing our song. We live for the fees we make. Soon it is profits that you will take. The LP Army marches strong. The best in soul, and now we sing our song. We are LP Army, rise to the sky. Dynamic fees, our battle cry. LP warriors will never die. Thereof we will fly. Rise, new soldiers, rise. Rise, new soldiers, rise. Spot, copy, ask, use them all. Winning's the task, we heed the call. Bootcamp, join our ranks so tight. Listen to the Goose Gang and gain your might. We will print and we will earn. Ways to gain is tokens burn. Join the ranks of the brave and bold. Story of the LP Army told. We are LP Army, rise to the sky. Dynamic feast, our battle cry. LP warriors will never die. Thereof we will fly. Rise, new soldiers, rise. Rise. Take the course and earn your role. March with us and earn some soul. Dodge the rug and join the fight. We gain together LP Army might. Make your position and join the pool. Post your wins with Alex's tool. LP Army, we fight to win. Your journey is about to begin. We are LP Army, rise to the sky. Dynamic feast, our battle cry. LP warriors will never die. Thereof we will fly. Rise, new soldiers, rise. Take the course and earn your role. March with us and earn some soul. Dodge the rug and join the fight. We gain together LP Army might. Oh.
GMet. Hello and welcome, everybody. Day 2, English Bootcamp number 16. Get my window shared here so we can all see what's going on. And we will get right into it. So, of course, obviously, our disclaimer, we're not financial professionals. This is not financial advice, money you're willing to lose, and so on and so forth. NFA, DYOR. And I missed it. Okay. So, again, this is a free course. You'll need funds to complete the tasks. We ask you to try and follow along if you can, but it's not required. This bootcamp is just about the education. While you can earn some roles in our Discord servers, it does not grant any airdrop. There's no met allocation for earning a role, so it's just about the education. Again, this is me. We talked yesterday about who I am, so that's cool. And of course, we have some other instructors here. Photon Magic is here to help me out today. I see Alex is out there on X in the chat. So appreciate these guys. Bootcamp doesn't happen one person alone. So mad props to these boys. Again, use the chat for your questions. We'll try and cover everything that we can during the course. Please try to keep concise and to the point. Again, you must complete both days of this course in order to graduate. So day 1, day 2, if you don't pass day 1, you're not going to pass day 2. And of course, if you have feedback for us, share it with me in the Discord chat. I take all feedback, good or bad. This is a link again to the bootcamp resources that we shared yesterday. If you're on a PC, you can use, if you're using Google Chrome, you can use Google Lens to scan these QR codes. This is the same bootcamp resources we showed yesterday. So, we have lots of extra good information. I'll give you guys like a couple seconds here. Yeah, probably show that again later. So here's our agenda for today. We're gonna show you guys some tools, ways to find LPing opportunities, some very basic chart reading and indicators, some strategies. We'll do some live demo, and we'll talk about how to graduate this course. So these are the things that you should know by the end of the day. Being safe, how to identify scams and likely rugs, assess your performance. Again, a lot of what we just talked about. So here we go. To survive and thrive in LP, you need to do certain things, and not just, go wild and have no purpose or plan or strategy. So figure out, one, how much you're willing to lose, right? And have a method. Figure out the strategy that works for you. What works for one person may not fit what you want to do. So you need to figure out your method. Practice, test, try different things, experiment, and of course, collaborate with others. You don't need to do this alone. We are a community and we're here for you. So it's not zero sum, it's player, pump, player. So yeah, once you figure out a good strategy and you're steadily winning, then you can increase your size for win. So here's just some of the things that we need, right? Key tools, is something safe or relatively safe? Is there volume? Is there opportunity? Some of these things you may find, it may be on-chain tools or community tools or third-party tools. And again, we'll talk about risk, performance, and assessment. So jumping straight into how to be safe. And there's a lot of different things that we can use for that. Rugcheck.xyz is classic. It's going to tell you about some of bad attributes. This is an old token here. For example, we went out there and we looked at this one. And it's got a bunch of red flags. To me, a copycat token is one of them. Like, it's a token using the same name as maybe another legit token. That's almost always a scam. High ownership, meaning that, say, one or a very small number of people own most of the token. Like here's single holder ownership. This one is like 91%. That is just somebody looking to rug very fast. So, you want to look out for certain flags. Not every flag is a bad one necessarily, but it may tell you, like, if something is mintable or if it can be frozen, like you can't sell this token. Stay away from that probably. So there's a lot of different things that you can use for rug check. Bubble maps is a really cool tool. It'll show you how a token is distributed amongst different wallets. Each one of these little bubbles represents a wallet. And these connected ones are showing like wallets that are connected to each other, like maybe they're bundled, or there's a lot of activity going in between these wallets, like something's going on there. It's not necessarily bad in all cases. And we'll try to find you some that are really bad, but like if there's a high concentration or a lot of it going on, it could be an indicator that a token is heavily bundled and that it may have problems. When you look over here at the distribution, if you see a consistent, like same amount of percentage over and over, like say you found 1.65 and it was just 1.65, 1.65, 1.65, and so on and so forth, that's a good indicator of a bundle, all related wallets. It's not unusual. We'll see up here at the top. Sometimes it could be a pool, like in this case, this is Radium, this pool. Things above 20% of single holder ownership is a little sketchy. So, I mean, here that's just the liquidity locked in that pool. But you just want to pay attention to how much is in there, because those can be indicators of a fast rug. It doesn't mean that you can't LP it. You just don't want to stay in there very long. And then something else that you should watch out for is wash trading. So that's just trading going on by bots that they're creating artificial volume to make it look like a token is really hot and you want to get in. And kind of a way to see that, you can see here this even volume over time, and then it just kind of stopped right here. This is like probably where the bot crashed or something, and then it picked up even distribution, even volume. Despite this is what they're trying to do, is create a bunch of fake volume to get people to buy in, thinking, oh, this thing is hot, this thing is a runner, and then they rug on you. So watch out for those. It usually just happens on new tokens, but it can happen on an older one. So you kind of want to watch out for wash trading. Okay, so now we're going to talk about finding opportunities. And in our LP Army Discord, there's a few different ways. And this, we're talking about bots right now. And you'll find that here, DLMM ops, multi-day ops, the Metlex terminal, these channels right here. Like here is an ops bot, and you can actually interact with this thing if you go in the channel. There's a help command. Just click that and it'll tell you the commands, how to operate it. But this is like telling you a list here, like top 10 non-strict list. That means not verified by Jupiter. The top in these, you'll see that there's a little bit of reg check, like this looks okay. It's telling you the volume trend, the bin step and base fee for these things, whether it's currently up or down. So that's a way that you might be able to find what's going on, what's hot. Of course, there's also multi-day. So tokens that maybe you could sit in overnight or for a few days. These may be better opportunities for a long-term play. So you can always check that out. And of course, there is the Metlex terminal. It's just whenever a new pool is created, this bot puts it out there. It's telling you about something that's new. It provides a little bit of the rug check information, whether it's got freeze authority or mint authority on it. This one right here, it's actually like this token, there was some rug check risks, and it put it right here for you to tell you what's going on with that token, why you may want to be cautious with that one. But that's our bots that are out there. And of course, in the Discord itself, There is our channels where you've got great DGens giving out calls on tokens, the DGen DLMM. You know, guys like Mythical Potato and Spider-Man, and a lot of people are out there making really good calls. Something that, you know, this looks hot, it's runner. So if you don't necessarily have time to go out and find fresh tokens all on your own, this is a great place to find something. You know, of course, do your own little check just to make sure, okay, is this thing safe? Is this thing good? I mean, guys, try not to post bad rugs, but you know, it's on you to look at something and determine whether or not it's something you want to do, or whether it's safe enough to do. And they can even generate separate threads for the token so that, you know, you can talk and strategize and, hey, what pool are you guys in? Or what are we doing here? Bid ask or spot? So it's just a great place to hang out and find out information about those things. So now Metlex.io, made by the great Alex. This tool has evolved over time and it's always cooking something. I probably need to update this graphic even. There's a lot of great stuff in that, and I'm actually going to demo that one now. Give me a second here. Okay, so here we are. Let me zoom in a little bit. So Metlex.io. Let's start with a few things here. We have DGen pools. So you filter this by a token name. And I'm just going to go and grab the CA of something that's going right now. You just drop this in there, click the rocket to go. Come on. Alex, what's going on, buddy? Okay. Let me see if we can come back to that one. Okay, so DEX, I put in a CA for this particular token. It's not showing any risks, but you have a lot of tools right here to check things, bubble maps, reg check, Jupiter, and so forth. But this is showing me what it looks like out amongst all the exchanges out there, or most of them. Here we see a Radium pool, the Meteora pool. It just kind of gives you an idea of what's performing, what and where. This is dynamic, or the damn V2 right here, dynamic V2, DLMM, and so on and so forth. What all this information means here, I just zoom in here. It's going to give you the TVL, how much volume over these different time periods have come through this specific pool, the market cap, and then the transactions. So green are buys, red are sells. So you can kind of see, is there more buys, more sells happening? And of course, you've got some links directly to the pools or DEX screener right here. Actually, let's pop the rug check and see what happens here. And it says it's good. Okay. Let's pop the bubble map on it. Okay. So the top I see the radium pool. That's the radium pool right there. It's hiding it by default, but that's like the locked liquidity. Um, Only a little bit of this. This can be normal. This is probably okay. We see just it's kind of organic. I don't really see anything too bundled um, or too much matching. So this one, it looks okay as far as that goes. Um, so from here, you could help make a decision on maybe what pool you want to choose, where you can see, is this really performing better than, say, some of the other dexes out there? Is this worth, is it getting any volume through our pools? Let's try this one again, see if it goes. I don't know what's going on with that. Okay, so I'm going to go the DLMM top 100. And you have a lot of filters here. I can say filter show all by today's fees, or I can say show me just stuff greater than 2%, or 5 or 1. I can filter by the volume. You know, I can turn something on like what's really happening here in the last 5 minutes or 24 hours. You can sort by that. You can also say only show me the pools with a certain amount of liquidity. So let's say I wanted to only show me stuff with at least $10,000 in it. So let's see, let's go on the last 1 hour. I'm gonna hit Rocket to apply that. And so I can see here, we've got this pair, Gora Soul. There's links to GMGN, Jupiter Pro, 8 Pro for both tokens. I mean, you don't really need to do it for Soul. But again, a lot of the same information that we just showed you, but this particular pool, it's showing you the bin step, the base fee, and all of this information. And if you're like, okay, this looks good, there's a button right here, LFG, hit that, and it'll take you straight into that pool so that you can deposit right into it if that's what you so choose. Okay. So this may be something that you can sort based off of your risks, or you like, only show me stuff making 5%, or whatever. You know, you notice I hit that, things changed here. So you've got some things that are happening right now, whatever. Okay. So that's that one. Now we've got the magical tab, which I actually love this one. Here you're looking for pools. So like here we've got minimum bin step of 20. I'm just going to say show me 100 max bin step. Don't show me anything bigger than 250. Minimum base fee 1. And then here you can choose whether you want to see only strict, or like tokens on Jupiter's strict list, or show me everything, aka all rugs. I'm gonna click go. We'll see what happens here. Okay, so based off of that, it's showing me a handful of things, and I'm going to let it load. It takes a second because it's actually loading the charts for these from GMGN, and you can fit more or less of these on the screen as you so choose. Right now I'm just talking, so it fills up. But you'll see like how many fees this is pulled in today, the volume, the TVL. So this is really cool. This Georgina Soul, whatever, there's a chart right there, the 5-minute chart. Of course, you can do things. That one looks not so great. Here's Gora Soul, what's going on with it. You can even add indicators to these things if you want. which is really cool. And of course, if you find one and they're like, okay, that one looks awesome, you know, just click the button, LFG, let's go. Let's get into that one. These things don't look very good today, do they? Okay. So that's the magical tab. Love that one. And then there's trenches. Now you may have seen something similar trenches, say on Juke Pro, but this is a little bit different. Here it's showing me top 500 pairs, 24-hour volume, 24-hour fees. That's overall. But you see these pairs and these little leaves, these green numbers. It's that score from Jupiter on the token. It's specifying a pool here. And you can even like sort by the different columns. But if you click on it, it'll tell you some safety information. This is really cool. I like this, that's been added. If there's any risks going on with it. And of course, as always, there's a button, let's fucking go, if you want to run into that token. But it's going to give you a lot of other metrics as well. Growth metrics. This is the volume. Show you fees, rates, the chart, if you want to look at that. I'm not going to wait for that look. But here it also gives you some insight. Like this one, it says the data shows cumulative trading over different time periods. The 1 hour volume is significantly higher than what would be expected from the 30-minute trend, indicating increasing trading activity. Under fees, it's telling you, you know, fee trend shows increasing returns over time. Let me find a different one. Give for examples. Let me just show more on the page. Okay, so here's one. Kudos, whatever this is. You can see the rug check. There's a lot of red flags here that you may want to watch out for. The pool overview, LP performance, it's telling you an exceptional APY. This pool has exceptional fee generation. Of course, you know, take all things into account, right? Do we have risks here going on? It does look like it could be risky, but it could be one that you could scrape some money out of really fast. Like here, this token yourself, large amount of LP unlocked. So that's not necessarily always a bad thing. I mean, people like to see that there is liquidity locked, that it's not just going to be immediate rug, but not locking liquidity is not always necessarily a bad thing. There have been solid tokens out there that they never lock the liquidity. You just have to kind of use a judgment based on everything that you see on this. I wonder, it may actually give you, like this particular one, this is just a SOL USDC pool, right? And there's nothing wrong with regular SOL USDC. But here he's saying potential opportunity, consider the risk reward profile with a 0.62% APR. So yeah, you know, I don't want to go on and on all day about Metlex. It's a really great tool, and there's a lot of awesome things that you can do and find in here. I wonder if this ever will load. Oh, it actually did. Okay. So here it would show you any rug check risks. Alex is all about safety, man. These are different pools to choose from. You can see which ones have the most TVL. and the volume and the fees earned. You've got links here to the pools, charts, more reg check, GMGN, so on and so forth. So if I was me personally, if I was using this and I wanted to get into this particular token to help me pick which pool, I may be looking for a combination of things, like which one's got the TVL, where is everybody at, what does the dynamic fee look like right now. This one is actually saying there's a dynamic fee of 10%, which I am not sure about that one, but let's go take a look. 10% dynamic fee is insane. Yeah, it's actually, it changes over time. This one's actually running at 4.65, so it's more than double. So there's a lot of volatility on that token. But I think if I was to pick something right now, this token's been running for a little while, I would probably not get into this one. And as you can see, not too many other people are as well. These right here, basically dead pools. There's no TVL. So if I was to pick one, it would probably be this 102%, or maybe even the 101%. To go and deposit into one of those. So that's Metlex. And I'm going to move on. So I can't spend all day on that. Okay, so now we're going to talk about reading charts a little bit, understanding a few things about this. I'm not going to give you a full course on technical analysis. And to be honest, whenever you're doing meme coins, there's not a whole lot of technical analysis you can do on them. But there's a few things that you can use to look at and to help you choose what to LP and what not to LP. We're actually going to do a few. I'm going to show you a few things first, and then we're going to go into a chart and look at it. But here are some useful technical analysis indicators. Use the ones that work for you. Pick ones that make sense, ones you can easily read. These are just some that we've kind of curated that we want to show, and we will explain. So the MACD indicator, it's got a few things here. So we've got the MACD line, the blue line. It's a crossing signal with this orange line. So whenever it crosses, like the blue line, whenever it crosses underneath the orange line, it's showing like a downtrend, right? A sell-off. And of course, whenever it crosses back up, it's buys. But also down here, we will see what's been going on. So green is a pump and red is a dump, and even the different shades of the colors. So here in dark red, it's like a heavy sell-off, but whenever it starts to lighten, that sell-off is starting to slow, and it can be an indicator that maybe the trend is going back in the other direction. Obviously, the taller or deeper it is, the bigger the sell or whatever. Of course, what this looks like also depends on which chart you're looking at, the 1 minute chart, the 5 minute chart, the 30-second chart, so on and so forth. So you can kind of see what trends is going there. The RSI indicator, it's a very simple one, but I like it. You've got basically 3 lines here: 30, 50, and 70. So this is the history of what this token has been doing. When a token goes above 70, it's an indicator that perhaps this token has been overbought, and it may be looking, it may return back down. And whenever a token dips below the 30, the token may be what we call oversold. So it could be a time whenever you may see a reversal in that trend that it may start with buys. Obviously, it's not always the case in every situation, but you can kind of look at something like, okay, this is oversold. This may be the point where it bounces back right here, especially if a token has been running for a little bit. The longer a token exists, the more TA you can do on it, obviously. But the RSI, I really like that one. And then a few other things here. I'm going to talk about the volume profile visible range. It's just kind of showing you the volume, right? So we've got the yellow is sells and the blue are buys. But whenever you're trying to pick a range to provide liquidity into, you want to put your liquidity obviously where the volume is. So you may choose a specific range, like here where this chart is, you could see the most volume is happening in this range right here. So you may want to mark that on your chart and say, okay, this is the range that I want to provide liquidity, especially if something is going sideways on you. So, and then there's another one. It's not really a indicator. It's more about candles, the Ikenashi candles. So on top, we see standard candles, you know, green, good, red, bad, and the wicks, right? The Ikenashi, what it does is it trims some of these wicks, and you notice that the chart is very, very similar, but it's not identical, especially right here, right here. So what it's showing you is a trend. And you'll notice this green here, there's not really so much of the bottom wicks. What this is saying is that this is a trend on a pump. Like this is trending up. There's not really a lot of bounce to it. It's just going up. And same with the red candles. There's not too many wicks right here. So that thing is going down. So it's just kind of like showing you what the trend is with a little bit less noise. So I like that one, just so that you can kind of get a better idea for what's actually happening. So I'm actually going to demo some of that right now, and I'll pause. Let's see. Okay, we don't really have questions right now, so I'll get into here. All right. So here we go. I've got a chart pulled up. I've got my Ikenashi candles turned on. Let's see if I can zoom in just a little bit. Too much. So we can see here the dumps, the pumps right here. Our RSI, like down here, you could see it got, it just dipped below. So we had a little bit of oversell, and then it came back up. We're inching close to the 70 line here. So on this pump, you may see a bit of a reversal right after, but there's a lot of volume happening right here, right now. Okay, and this is the 1 minute chart. So if I was thinking that this was going to bounce back down because it's real close, I may choose, I'm going to use this indicator measure price range. You may say, okay, it looks like most of the volume is happening right about here. So this will help me define how I want to do. I'm going to switch the price here. Get my indicator again. Okay, so you can see here we've got and marked it right here for me. Why is that doing that? Let me turn off this. Okay. So looking at this, it may tell me exactly where I want to set my price, my range, right here and right here. So that'll define if you want to go tighter, you can, but this is just a way to utilize that information to decide what you want to do. We can see here on the MACD, it looks like not a big pump. Right now, we're going through a period of just small up and downs on this token. So that's happening. Here on GMGN, and this is one of my favorite charting tools. It's got so many different things, and we could spend all day looking at this. Right here, you've got 1 minute, 5 minute, 1 hour, and 24 hour. These are telling you what's happening. Like in the last 1 minute, this token is down 5%. The net buy here, zoom into this. That didn't do what I wanted to do. Oh my God. So we've got here a net buy of negative 6K. And that just kind of like tells you what it's doing, what it's going in the 1 minute. The volume, the buys, are there more buys than sells? How much? And of course, you can switch that to the 5, the 1 hour, the 24 hour. I really like this indicator because if the net buy is close to 0 or not too far away, that kind of tells me what's happening with the token. It could be that, maybe it's staying level, or this thing is really going down, or it's really pumping up. It'll tell you a few things about that. And of course, GMGN has a few other safety indicators here. Top 10 wallets. Is there liquidity burnt? Is it on blacklist? Is there a mint authority? These are all great things. There's also right down here a button. It doesn't say it, but it is the link to bubble maps. So if we want to look at this, Ohana, that's the name of the indicator. Let me come back to that because I'm not sure which one you're talking about. I'll list off the names on all of these. So we can just see here, there's even some labels on these, like here, the radium pool. I don't know what all these things are, but this is your bubble maps to show you. I'll show you something that's probably bundled, but the names on these, again, this particular charting right here is the VPVR, or the volume profile visible range right here. And then you have the MACD, this one right here, the MACD, and then the relative strength index, or the RSI indicator. So I like to pick my indicators and favorite them so that I can always come back to them. But GMGN loads these up by default for me. Let's just pick, I'm going to pick a random token here and look at the bubble maps. Hopefully we can find something that looks nasty so you can show you guys what that looks like. So here's a little cluster going on. Not sure what's up with that, but that could be a warning sign that there's a cluster here. It's 7.55%, so it's not that bad, but still, there's the top wallet, 17%, not terrible. Let's find something else. This one is actually run sideways. That's a pretty clean distribution right there. That is a solid looking token. I don't understand this question. Bin math behind swap. I don't know what you're asking there. This one's not bad. A few wallets connected. This is a really nasty one. Okay. Not too bad. I don't want to sit here all day and look for a token that is an absolute rug, but you guys get the idea. You can find those out there. Let me load up this chart again. Okay. So a few other things that I wanted to show you guys with that you can do with GMGN. Of course, there's the activity that you could see. You can see liquidity that's being added and removed. So you see this. This is actually all these for Meteora, where it's been people are adding and removing how much. But on the activity tab, you can see smart contracts. KOLs, VCs, you can see what they're doing. This guy, Notch, he's going through periods where he's buying and selling. So do what you will with that information. You can see what the dev did. 149 days ago, he sold. He bought some more 9 days ago, and then he sold it again. And then up here, you can see if you click on markers, if we mark this, we will see, hopefully, would show it to me. Maybe I need to sign in. Oh, actually, this is great. So something else that you'll see on these charts is whenever you're logged in with your wallet to GMGN, you'll see anywhere that you bought or that you sold. Let's see, where are, is this thing gonna load that or not? We'll refresh the page. Okay. It's not really giving me what I'm looking for, but you would see like little indicators all over this. If you ever get that and it's got like all these little bubbles that are in the way, come up here to the markers and uncheck things so that you don't see all that noise on there, if that's what you don't want. Let's see. So anyway, yeah, you can see what whales are doing, their activity, fresh wallets, snipers. Again, there's a whole lot that you can do with GMGN, and I can't spend all day on this, but this is a great, powerful charting tool. It's one of my favorites, but you know, there's other things out there. Dex tools, I used to use that, Dex Screener, so on. But one of the things that, and this is important, that I like to point out, what GMGN does is it aggregates the entire market for a token into one chart. So this is not one specific pool that we're looking at. If we were just to look on, say, Dex Screener or Bird Eye, it may only show me the chart for this very specific pool. And if there's not very much volume coming through the pool, you may not get the very best picture of what's truly happening on a token. So what this is doing is it's compiling everything into one chart. So all these buys and sells, you know, it may not be on this specific liquidity pool. It's really happening on all of them. So that's what's going on. So yeah. Okay. I think we covered that. Let's move on to the next thing. Okay, so now we're going to talk a little bit about strategies. You know, there's one-sided strategies, two-sided strategies, combinations, short-term plays, long-term. Here's one that we have. Here's one I did a long time ago. This is actually a mixed strategy. I went one-sided with this. I put in a small layer of spot, and then I did a bid ask with the rest of my tokens. But you notice that this area, I left some area open in the position with nothing. I didn't put any of this other token over there. I just left it open. As I earned fees on that, I claimed those fees and I put that token back into the pool in a bid ask, just again, because we bought it lower here and we want to sell it higher. So that's compounding the fees into the pool. It's a very basic strategy. Geek-Lad's toothpaste tube, again, you have a spot and then a bid ask. And it's just really, he likes saying he's like squeezing all the toothpaste out or the money, selling it at a higher price. He went really wide with that, trying to get as much as he possibly can out of that single position. And then, you know, there's the bid ask chill. Went really wide with this, just bid ask, so it handles pretty big swings, depending on how wide you go on the bid step. But this is like a full range. Just let it chill, swing back and forth, sleep on it, what have you. So you're not getting too wrecked on this one. You'll notice here that this particular one is not full range. I was hoping to go on a short-term play on this one. So I picked a smaller range and to help maximize or concentrate my capital, my liquidity in a smaller area, versus, and of course that's something that I would need to watch versus say this where I would need to, I'm just going to let it sit. I'm going to walk away. I'm going to go nap, eat, go to the store, whatever. That's a more chill one. Now something else that I've been doing, and this is just for fun, DLMM art. This is just to demonstrate all the things that you actually can do with the DLMM. You can mix up crazy things. Some of this I just did for fun, but some of it I actually had a reason for it. Like this one, I call it cowboy hat. It's also kind of the curve ask, if you will. Now, I'm not saying you should run out and go do this, but what my thinking here was, I was concentrating some liquidity at where I think the trading was going to happen, and I used a curve to do it. But then I withdrew some of that on both sides and threw it in to bid ask. So if the token swings, I'm going to utilize the power of the bid ask on either sides. So I'd be selling the token here at a higher price than here, or buying it that way. So that was the idea. That was a theory. Now, I'm not saying this thing works. I'm just goofing around, but it's just a demonstration that you can do crazy things with your liquidity. Now here's the classic, the bid-ask flip. It's a one-sided strategy. This one is like really, guy kind of explained it with MS Paint. Do this when price dumping, and this is like a sole only one-sided bid-ask. And then do this when price pumping. So withdraw that and deposit just the other token into a bid-ask going the other way. So it's really the simplest, but it is super effective, the bid-ask flip. And here we could see what it looks like on a chart. So this old token, Billy, guy looked at it, he's looking, okay, I think this is the top of this one. So it's the peak. So he opened a one-sided soul only bid-ask, and he went down. He thought, okay, maybe this is the range that it's going to do. And this token, it did some up and down. It did a little bit of ranging. That's okay. We're getting some fees. It got down to the bottom of his range, and that's where it looked like, okay, this thing is ready for a bounce. So he turned it around into a one-sided bid-ask, all with the token Billy. And as the token went on, it pumped up out of his range. He was left with all soul and a bucket of fees. Profit, close, walk away, go buy yourself a steak. So it's very simple, but very effective. You know, you're not guaranteed for this to always happen to you, but it does work. A lot of degens do that. Now we're going to talk about, as I promised, what to do when you are out of range. You're suffering from impermanent loss. You have several choices of what it is you can do. The first thing that you need to remember is when your position is open, when you're out of range, you're in impermanent loss. When you withdraw, you make impermanent loss permanent. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't recover. What can you do when you're out of range? One, you just wait, be patient, be calm, don't panic. If you think that that token is going to come back into your range within a reasonable amount of time, just don't do anything. Just wait, let it go. The next thing that you can do is you can open a one-sided bid-ask at a lower price range, hoping to capture enough fees to offset those losses. So like, for example, you can see here, all these positions are out of range. So I open another position, just a one-sided bid-ask going lower, in the hopes that I will capture enough fees doing this to offset any losses that happens up there. You know, Hana, this, I'm actually going to answer that for you here in just a bit. If you just, I'll show you exactly how it works, how to make those different shapes. So something else that you can do is you can take the loss and reposition your liquidity. If you think you can capture enough volume in the new range to recover those losses, then it works. And I have totally done that multiple times. I've had something where, you know, I set my range and then the token, it dump, and I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, okay, I don't think this thing is going to come back to where I was. Or I'm looking at it and saying, I don't know if this is going to come back, but right now there is a ton of volume down in the range it's at. And again, like we said before, volume is king, right? you want to capture volume. So I would take my liquidity, go down into that lower position, and actually, what I like to do in these situations is set up a tight spot range and just let it go back and forth. If I think it's going to do that, I'll do that and I'll collect these fees and I get enough and then I'm back into profit or at the very least break even. And the last thing that you can do is just quit. Quit before it gets even worse. If you're down 50% on a token and you think there's no hope of recovery, it's better to withdraw and sell instead of holding on to thoughts and prayers and watch it ride all the way down to zero, right? A 50% loss is better than a 100% loss. So sometimes you have to just say, okay, you know, I'll take the L and I'll go home. So it's really, you have, over time, you have to kind of study and understand when it's good to cut and run, or I think I can recover, where you just wait. There's a lot of different things that you can do. And I'm actually going to demonstrate some of that right now. Okay. So let me zoom in here. Here I am. I've got something on oil Sol. And I had set up a position in this particular price range. I did that earlier today and I got a little bit off of it, but then the token dumped on me. Okay. But I was seeing a whole lot of crazy volume even lower. So what I did was I withdrew all of my liquidity there. And I actually, normally I would close this position, but I left it open so that you guys could see what I'm talking about. I withdrew it and I picked a range and I went pretty tight. I didn't use too many bins here. And I just did a spot. And like, if you're just looking to sell the token, you know, use a bid ask. But if you're looking for it to range and capture a bunch of volume as it's moving back and forth, spot is really good for that. So as you can see right here, I put that in, and in the hour or so that it's been in there, I've captured $10.63 worth of oil and $11.53 in Sol. So I'm on my way to earning my money back. And so the question is, what do we do? And I'm actually gonna cover the next bit right now. What do you do with claim fees? You got, or fees that you've earned. You've got a lot of choices here. You can claim and immediately sell the meme to lock in those profits. It's not a bad idea if you don't trust that it's going to go back up. If you think it's just going to be down only. When you get enough money that's happy for you, you claim it and immediately sell it, and you lock in those profits. What some people do is they like to just hold it and wait, hoping for that pump out of range, and then they just sell whatever. And then, of course, there's the compounding. I'm going to claim these fees. And then I'm going to put that right back in. Oh, wow. All right. This thing is volatile. Okay, this thing may go out of range. And so here's another example. Like, so I compounded that. But here, if I'm looking, oh no, I think this thing is dumping, let's lock in that profit right here, right now. I'll just claim that. And then just go ahead and sell it. And I'll lock in some profit right now. This thing is dumping. it'll probably go out of range here. And the reason why there's a gap here is just because when I was trying to deposit, the token pumped a little bit, and I just didn't reposition. But that's why that looks that way. So yeah, I've done this many times, set up something like this. And I've even had it where I'm looking at this thing and it's dump, 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 and it keeps going down. I have moved down a couple times in order to do that. I see some nasty sell-offs here. What's going on with that? Okay, people selling the oil, but I'm not too worried because right now there's a lot of sideways action on this token. And it looks like it's heading towards an oversell. So it may bounce right back. So I'm just going to wait in this situation. I'm not going to move this. Even though there's a nice bit of volume right here, I would wait. Actually, if it goes even further down, then I might move again. But right now, I'm just going to be patient and wait and see if it comes back into range. So I'm just going to pause on that one. So that's what we're doing here to deal with our impermanent loss. Now, talking about making our pictures. Let's see, what did I do with this one? Okay, this one's a straight spot. Let's look at the chart on this. Do a little analysis. Sort of. Okay. What's the volume here? In 1 minute, 33,000 to a 30 million market cap. The 5 million or the 5 minute, 1 hour, 2.1 million. I mean, volume's not insane. It is a weekend, but there is some here. So for fun, I'm going to create a new position. I'm actually going to buy a tiny bit of this token. Just going a little small because I just wanted to do a demo for you guys. I don't actually have conviction here. Okay. So let's say I set this to use autofill. I'm going to do half of the token, right? I'm just going to do half in a spot. And look at that. It is just like a little bounce there. I'm just going to set full range just for giggles. This is a 20 bin step pool, so this is really not that wide as far as the price. It's -6, +6, more or less. So now I'm going to set the rest into a bid ask. So I'm not creating a new position here to make this shape. I'm simply adding to the existing position. So just like so, we do that. You can create a second position. Like so. Okay. So you can see here, I've got 3 positions and my different shape on that. And I could if I wanted, do something crazy. Like that's how you can make that little shape by doing that right there. Again, this is not recommended technique or strategy here. I'm just demoing. But that is how you do it, just like that. Just add to the existing position. So I hope all of that's clear. Okay. So let me move on to the next thing. Okay. So talking about, I touched on this just a minute ago whenever I claimed fees. I compounded some of it back into the position. I also showed you guys sell it immediately, locking in the profits. We talked about simply hold the token. But there's a third or a fourth option. You can open a new position at a price higher than your current with the token you want to sell. Some people may call it a moon bag, and that's actually what some people do is they'll just hold that, hoping that the token moons, and then they'll just trade it, sell it at a higher price. That's cool. You don't earn any fees along the way, but sometimes it actually is the right thing to do. But like I said, you could just open that one-sided bid ask at a higher price point and do it there. I've even done it where I've had my main position and it's earning fees, and I would just anything that I collect out of there, I'm throwing into a higher price point into a bid ask. Of course, that is a whole lot of hopes that it actually pumps up into that and out. I don't actually do it that much, too much anymore, but it is a valid strategy to use. What to do with those earned fees? Okay, so we've kind of already been doing that. Now I want to talk about dynamic pools for a minute, so that we make sure that we get everything done on time. The damn V2. Okay. So this is going to be fun. I need to find a damn V2 token to do. This is going to be tough, actually. Well, let me just show you guys what the damn V2 looks like first, so that we can, and then we can mess with that. So here, I'm going to go into this particular one. Let's see what's going on. So the damn V2, like the damn V1, it's an AMM, so the liquidity is not concentrated, although there is an exception to that, but by and large, it's not concentrated so much. Just like the damn V1, the distribution of the tokens may not be straight 50-50. But you'll notice here there is no lending yield from the vaults on the damn V2. It's just the fees. Base fee, dynamic fee, the liquidity provider fee, protocol fee. But here's the other awesome thing about the damn V2. It's possible to set it so that you only collect fees in the quote token. So this particular pool, Vibe USDC, the quote token is USDC. I'm going to get all of my fees only in USDC. I'm not going to receive any of the Vibe token, which, I mean, I don't want to keep Vibe. I don't want to be a community member. I just want the USDC. So that's a great thing for that. You cannot enter this one-sided. Like the damn V1, you could just put in one token and it would auto switch for you. The damn V2 will not do that. You must buy the token first. Let me see if I can find another example of a pool. There's nothing in this one. but this is showing me a few different other options of what's happening here. This one, the quote token, where you're only getting tokens in Sol. But here we have a fee scheduler, and this is a really cool thing. Whenever a token first launches, there's a lot of sniping and med bots and stuff like that happening. So you can set up this fee scheduler, and it starts out at 50% fees. So snipers will be paying 50% fees to buy that token, which is amazing for you. And over time, in the exponential curve, it goes down to match what the base fee is. There is another option called linear, which is a straight line, which basically what happens is that fee lowers over a longer period of time. Of course, a lot of the action on these, whenever you're dealing with fresh memes, it's going to happen within the first couple minutes. So you have to find these quickly and get in quickly. A lot of people play these when you're dealing with brand new memes. They are getting in with 0.1 Sol or less and a prayer, but you can make fat money off of these very quickly. Let me see if I can find. Actually, let me give you guys another example of some of the stuff that happens there. So here we go. This is a pool created actually by the team itself, the Sol USDC DAM V2 pool. They concentrated the liquidity between $50 and $500. We can see the current price. I realize that's not super concentrated, but it's more concentrated than 0 and infinity. So anyway, we're getting only the quote token. There's no fee scheduler ever on this one, but unlike the DAM V1, your fees are not auto compounded into the pool. Like the DLMM, they set here separately, and you can claim them at any time and then do whatever it is that you want with it. But that is that one. Let me over here. I really don't want to get into a brand new DAM V2 pool. And that one didn't do what I wanted. Let me just jump back to my presentation here. We did do an advanced bootcamp on dynamic pools V2, so you can learn a whole lot more on these by looking out on YouTube. It was advanced bootcamp number 4, so just look for that. But these are some of the wins that people have been getting off of the DAM V2. Of course, it's not guaranteed every time. This one is one of my favorites to see. This was actually Magica. He put in about $7 and he ripped out $1,000 in fees and just didn't take very long, a few minutes. But of course, when you're doing this with brand new tokens, there is no technical analysis. You really are going in. I mean, like this thing is brand new. It just bonded. You're going in with a prayer. So it could be rug very fast. And that's the reason why a lot of people are only going with a very small amount of liquidity. But you can rip pretty quick off of these. Here's a couple guys, their strategies. Feel free to go follow them on X, Mythical Potato, Sats Monks. There's others out there who have great stuff. Nauj, NAOJ, I believe. He's got some great guides out there. Again, check out the Advanced Bootcamp. We give you guys a lot of information out there. Mythical Potato, he's just using Juke Pro, sorting by top traded, 5 minutes, and the percentage change. So he's just looking for something, what's hot, just right there on Juke Pro. Sats Monks uses Axiom. But the other thing that's great is you'll find out here on the LP Army Discord, the DGen Dam channel. A lot of guys are making calls. It's just, you have to be paying attention, and it goes very quickly. So that's a great place to help go find it, especially if you're not good at finding them on your own. That's a great way to do that. All right. So now we're going to talk about some other community tools. lp4fun.vercel.app made by Metlex Bug. This one, you can check the status of your open positions. You can do multiple wallets. You can view a live return on investment or your ROI. Now, you can either have it show it to you, your ROI, in like Sol or whatever other token. But here's the thing that I want you guys to remember. Metlex will show you P&L in USDC, and this defaults in Sol. So your percentage may be different between the two. Okay. So one may show 1% of profit and the other one may show a slightly different one. And that's because you're talking about quoting in either Sol or USDC. And as we know, the price of Sol can move up and down. But it's a good tool. It's very simple. I'm not going to go through a whole demo of it, but go check it out. It's pretty self-explanatory. So if you want to go see it, go do it. And next, I'm going to bring up hello. Oh, no. I'm going to talk about really quick GeekLad's profit and analysis tool. It's also linked in every pool, just like Metlex. You can track your wallet's profitability over time. See it denominated in the quote token. It'll give you an estimate of Met points based off of your DLMM fees only. And there's a lot of filters. This was great, is you can filter a date range, like show me what my P&L looks like over the last week. Have I increased my Sol? And again, this is something you may want to use a tool like this to gauge yourself before you start increasing how much you will deposit into the DLMM or LP with. When you start to see, okay, I'm consistent, I gauge myself, I'm winning, it's going up, I'm not losing, I'm ready to increase my size on these things. So this is a really great tool for that sort of thing. And then the last one here, we're going to talk about Ultra LP. And I've actually brought on Rich King, who this is his baby. So, Rich, you there? You're on mute.
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey,
how are you doing? How are you doing, Heavy?
Yep. I'm doing good. Glad to have you on. Why don't you go ahead and show us? You want to show us your screen?
Yeah, I could do that. I just opened also a Gore position, but it's not doing the best.
Yeah. Weekends are that way.
Oh, here's my position. And what this tool does is, think of it as like an extension of LP for Fun and Metlex and GeekLad all put together. And what people were really lacking that we found after DMing hundreds of folks and interviewing the people in the Goose DAO was that it was really hard to tell how well you're doing in your position just by looking at the UI. And it doesn't really track how much the position is currently valued. And how the impermanent loss is affecting these numbers on the screen. Sol could be moving up, and that could be putting your position, your total liquidity up, or it could be going down. But if, for example, if you think of Sol as kind of like your savings, you're accumulating Sol, and you don't necessarily care about that. And a bunch of other things at the same time. So once you open up your position here and you've connected your wallet to Ultra LP, you're able to see all of your positions in like one place. And this Gore position, for instance, that I just opened, I can open it up and load for a sec here and see kind of how both positions, two of them at the same time, where I'm at, as well as the current P&L. This P&L takes into like everything to consideration: impermanent loss, the fees, and the real-time liquidity, as well as the fees unclaimed and claimed. What's neat about this section that I really like is the impermanent loss. People have told me this section is really helpful. You're able to see, okay, like I started with only 13 Gore, but the current amount of Gore that's in my position is 860. And you can see that's updating in real time every second. And the price that I started out with Gore is 0.0324, but it's gone down a bit. But the value of the overall position has gone up to $28, obviously, because I have a ton more of Gore. Now with the Sol side, I started with one Sol in this position. I split it half-half. One in this kind of bid-ask here, one Sol here, one Sol here. A little bit of Gore here. And now I'm at 0.77 Sol. Sol's actually gone down a bit. And the value of Sol has, in this position, has gone down a lot because there's less Sol in it. So just by looking at this, you can kind of tell where you're at in terms of impermanent loss. And this impermanent loss, 0.772, is like the true how well you're doing. Like if you had not LP'd, this would be 0. But because you have, you're at 0.78. And so that's a pretty neat feature. And so you'll find while you're using Ultra LP, you could also have your position open while seeing everything here. You can monitor it in real time and then hopefully help you make more profits. So yeah. It's currently beta. It's free to use. So just DM me for access.
And you find you on Discord as Rich King?
Yeah,
Or
Richard King XYZ. Yeah, we're in the LP Army Discord in the community tool section. You've got all of the other community tools there. We're the one on the bottom. Feel free to DM me there. Mods are in there 24/7 answering questions. I joined the LP Army after hosting IRL workshops along with Heavy while we're hosting a DLM workshop in New York. And I hosted workshops in Vancouver with the Super Team Canada. And I actually took one of these boot camps last year to learn how to LP. And when we were LPing, we had a few developers on the team, and we decided to build this together to kind of help people manage everything. So yeah.
Ricardo is saying Ultra LP is telling me going to a wait list. So
yeah, just I'll get to it as soon as you submit that. I'll log in and I'll check it and I'll DM you and send you a link.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks for showing us that, Richard.
What's that?
I said thanks for showing us that.
Oh yeah, no problem.
Appreciate that. Okay.
Cheers.
Cheers.
See you guys later.
Yep. See you. Okay. So we have a few things to cover, but we're going to show you guys right now. This is the QR code for the graduation task. So go ahead and scan that. with your phone or Google Lens if you're using Chrome on your PC. So here's what you got to do. You need to open one and only one new DLMM position, and you do that anytime between today and June 29th. You can do it today. You can open it today, tomorrow, Tuesday, anytime. Okay. But if you try and use a position that you created before today, it will not count. It will be rejected. You need to LP with a minimum of $100 value. That can be one token. It could be two tokens. It doesn't matter. Just the total value of that deposit must be at least $100 or more. So again, I don't care if you go single-sided or two-sided. And I will say this, if you want to mix a strategy, say you wanted to do a spot and a bid ask on something, when you make that deposit, say you did $50 and in spot and then $50 in a bid ask, that's okay, as long as you get that second deposit within the first couple minutes. That will be okay. But if you don't, like if you wait 30 minutes and then you add more, you won't pass on that if you didn't meet the minimum. We don't allow stable pairs for this. So USDC, USDT, they don't count. Sol and any liquid staking token, those won't count because those are tied together. They're correlated, because when the price of Sol goes down, the price of the LST goes down, and so on and so forth. And like any two tokens, that it's basically two tokens of the same, like CB, BTC, or WBTC. It's both BTC, and the price follows each other. So we don't allow those stable pairs. You need to LP for at least 1 hour. You must close the position before you submit it. If you submit an open position that's not closed, you're not going to pass. You have to show at least a 5% profit. That's not just 5% in fees, but profit. So you have to earn enough fees to offset any impermanent loss and show 5% profit. So not just 5% fees. We don't allow any third-party DLMM managers such as HawkFi, MetEngine, any copy trading bots. Now, I'm not saying I have a problem with any of these. These are all fine tools, but we don't allow it for the graduation. We want you to fully understand the DLMM and demonstrate that you fully understand how to use the UI, and not something that's going to manage a position for you. So please don't do that. We do check for those things. So please don't use those. Just raw dog the DLMM and you'll get there. And again, as I said before, you must complete both days of this course in order to graduate. So you got to pass day 1 and day 2. I don't know if there's any questions on this. As Photon has shown below, it does take some time to grade these forms. So, and I'm not going to grade anything until after the forms close on 3 p.m. UTC, or actually 5 p.m. UTC, whatever, on June 29th. It takes time, so be patient. I will grade. It's usually within a week after the forms close. So, yeah, I'm gonna move on here. Soul Scan, I'm just gonna touch on this. A great way to find your position, your transaction ID or the signature in Soul Scan. Put your wallet in the search, soulscan.io. go to the DeFi Activities tab. And you will see in there every place where you have added liquidity, removed liquidity, done a swap. And then right there is the button to copy that signature or the transaction ID. It's two ways of saying the same thing. So this is an easy way to find what it is. Something that, and I'm showing you this because sometimes people, whenever they do submit their thing for Bootcamp, they copy the wrong transaction and they submit that, and then they failed because they submitted the wrong thing. This may help you find the correct transaction, but you can always pop that into Metlex, and I'll actually show you guys that right now because we have plenty of time to do this. Okay, that one's not looking good right now. All right, so here, this position right here, it's actually gone up out of range. That's awesome. I'm going to withdraw and close. Now you can click this to generate a P&L, but I don't want to do that. I want to show you guys the full thing. So I'm going to copy my wallet address. Go to SoulScan. Come on. All right. I guess it realizes I'm human now. Okay. Okay. So as I showed before, a search by wallet. I came here to DeFi activities. I can see right here 1 minute ago, I removed this liquidity, Gore Soul. Okay, so that's it. I'm going to copy that transaction hash. I'm going to open Metlex. Go refresh the page here. All right. This is going to default to the P&L tab. There's two out here, one for DLMM and one for DAM V2. There is nothing for DAM V1, but it's going to default to DLMM. I'm going to paste my transaction there, hit the rocket. And here we go. So we can see all of these, all my information right here. There actually is a little Bootcamp checker. You know, if you have 4 green check marks, you're probably good. It's not checking the date. But if you have any X's right here, then it's not going to pass because it's looking for third-party apps. Did you have enough of the initial deposit? Did you meet the 5% P&L? And did it run enough time? And then it just generates this beautiful P&L card right here with all the information. You know, I didn't perform very well. I only made 46 cents off of my $26. It was a $1.74% P&L, but as we like to say, it's better to cry in green than it is to cry in red. But this is how you can check to see if you pass. This is the transaction that you're going to submit on the bootcamp form. Please do not copy this Metlex link and paste that into the graduation form. If you do, the grader will fail you and you won't pass, and I will be so sad for you. So please don't do that. Please copy the correct thing. So Ohana, when you're asking here, DM use the Ultra LPO account. So that thing is not doing it for you. It's just showing you. That's okay to look at that. We're not using a third party tool to actually LP there. But yeah, and something new that they've added to this is you can choose what information you want to see on your P&L card, or you could go back to the classic look, the OG look out there, and it has a different look if you've got a loss or a big win or a really fast one. But anyway, that's how that works in a nutshell. Let's go back to our presentation. And so now here we are at the end with about 20 minutes left. If we have any questions you guys want to ask, feel free. There's a link to the LP Army Discord. Join us. There's a lot of great DGens out there, a lot of people who can help along the way. This course is meant to get you started. There's plenty more to learn. And just get out there and ask questions, be a part of the community, talk to each other, and grow. But if anybody has any questions now's the time to ask. Photon, have you seen anything that we need to touch on, maybe from earlier?
No, sir. I think you do a wonderful job.
Okay. I probably won't join that, start up this boot camp stage if we're not getting any questions at all, because there is like a ton of time left.
Yeah, let's go for it. I'll join you there.
Well, of course, no, I'm saying I don't know if I should start it at all. Maybe I'll do it. Okay. All right. So here's a cool question here. When people go for a short-term play on a new coin, what do they usually do? Let's see, 5 to 10 minute plays with good P&Ls. Well, not a singular answer, but let's share a screen and show you what you can do. All right, so let's find something. I'm gonna open up. Okay, anus. Neat. All right, so first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna look at the chart. This is just the way, I might do this. Other people might do this in a different way, but I'm gonna take a quick peek at the chart here. All right. So this is not a new one, and it's probably not one that I would be looking necessarily for a short-term play. So maybe this is not the best example, but let's pretend that it is. Okay. So we could see there's a trend for down. So in this particular situation, I'm probably going to come in and do a one-sided bid ask and I may choose, this is the 100 bin step pool. I don't necessarily want to dip all the way down to 50%. I may only want 30%. Think it's not going to dip more than 30%. So I set up my one-sided bid ask just like that. And that's how a lot of people are starting out. They let it run down a little bit, and then it pumps back up out of range, and there you go. For me, if I'm seeing it fly back and forth really fast, especially in the 100 bin step, that's wild. But if it's doing that, just go spot, man, pure spot. You're going to capture more fees that way. But if I'm looking at a chart, like let's say we're looking, let's pretend this is a brand new token right here, this Gore chart. And I see this like it's just looking up, 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 up. Well, doing a one-sided sold bid ask, that's just hoping and waiting for it to come down later, right? This is a point where I may go two-sided. I may buy a little bit of the token, and I may set it up in a spot or a bid ask with that, in the hopes that it's going to range. So that's what I might do. There's other strategies to doing this that are like super risky, super advanced, like the top curve blast. Go look up Advanced Bootcamp number 3 for info on that. I don't really want to be teaching that here. It is not, if you're new, it is not a play you want to do. Super risky. Go check out Advanced Bootcamp number 3 if you want to learn about curving that. Okay. So that's basically what I would do. And the other thing that I wanted to say about this question right here is 5-10 minutes. For me, it's in, out, done, and go. Okay. So as soon as I have some profit, or as soon as it pumps up, and I may be going with a small range on it, I get out, I withdraw, and I don't look back. And I'll tell you right now, my things for success is, number one, I'm never going with more than I'm willing to lose. 2 is once I earn profit on a token, I don't go back. Okay, I don't go back in for more. And the reason for that is because I have found over time, more times than not, whenever I go back in, I end up losing not just on that position, but I lose all the profit from my previous one. So there are times wherever you can go back and yes, you can earn more. But for me, I found it just really didn't work out that way. And a lot of other people, like, oh man, I got greedy. I kept going back for more. And then I ended up getting totally wrecked. And so you turned your win into a loss. So for me, once I secure the win, that's it. I'm not going back. I walk away. Sometimes you're leaving money on the table, but again, it's better to cry in green than it is in red. So here's another question. What are the main strategies for people playing multi-day strategies? I've seen people in 20 bin, 0.2% fee with multiple positions. Some people go 101, 102, 125, so on. So what does it depend on? Can you talk more on the grids? I'm not sure what you mean by grid. So multi-day, and again, this varies. Let me show you here. Let me find an example, because this is really kind of like There's more than one way to do it, and it's how you want to do it. So what I'm looking here at Gore, this is an established token. It's been around for a few days. It's been wild. At this point, the 400 bin step pool, it really doesn't make sense. The 250, 5%, it's not going to capture any volume because there's too many other pools with lower bin step and lower fees. Here in the 20 bin step, as we know, that's not a wide range, right? But people will stack up in order to counter that. So they might say, create a position, and they may go and say, okay, I want this to go down to 40%, negative 40%. So that's going to create 4 positions, 263 bins, 4 positions. You add the liquidity there, and it's going to create it's going to stack up those positions for you. And just so that I can show you what that actually looks like, I'm going to put in the smallest amount. So 13 cents. It didn't do it. That's weird. Let me try this again. I think my price actually reset on me. There we go. Now, if you do this with the bid ask, actually, let me show you. This will not generate a position that looks like that. Create my 4 positions. And here we go. So I've got all my positions set up here, and you can see bid ask, bid ask, bid ask, bid ask. And that's actually overall the position. It looks like this sawtooth, if you will. There's an anti-sawtooth strategy. You would need to look that up. It gets to adding liquidity in different spots to do all that, to reshape this, and it takes a bit to set it up. But this is what a lot of people doing for a 20 bin step chill. Why are they choosing this? Because the 20 bin step is going to capture more volume. So they set up a lot of positions to cover the range. Now, if you just want to set up one position, you can go with a higher bin step, such as 100 or what have you. It won't capture as much volume, but you've covered a larger range with a single position. So yeah. And you usually play short-term plays. Others, I mean, I do a mixture of both. That's really kind of something for the individual to decide. There's plenty of people out there who like, man, I like to always have something in Sol USDC, or here's a project that I believe in. I like to always get in there. And then there's some people who they are adrenaline junkies and they will only go the short term, or a mix. It's really kind of like up to you. I wouldn't try and necessarily copy what somebody else is doing on that. So what is a decent strategy for short-term plays to learn and start with? So spot always works. Bid ask, always a solid thing. I would say probably start out going full range until you can learn where you want to say focus liquidity. Like I find myself setting myself up is don't go down more than 30%, because I want to concentrate the liquidity more and earn more fees. But until you can get a feel for what a token might do, you may want to go full range just to cover yourself. But yeah, I mean, just do that. Or in the case of something like this, I come in and I look at a chart that say it's up only. I may, like if I'm looking at this, at this point, I may be going two-sided. It just depends. Now, I may go with just a, say, 0.1 SOL worth, and then put more SOL on the backside, because I don't know if it's about to dump right now or not. But these are just different ways. Play with it and figure out what works for you. So hopefully that answered all of those things for you. I think we can, Photon, do the bootcamp stage just for a little bit. And that's where we'll be in the LP Army Discord bootcamp stage. We'll fire that up shortly after this ends, just to answer any additional questions that we can for you guys. So anyway, I hope this was helpful for you guys. Good luck. Graduate. We'll see you soon. We'll see you in the Discord. Again, thank you, Photon, for joining me today. Yeah, well, million questions are great. Time's up, though. And that's fine. If you can't think of them, feel free to ask in the chat in the Discord. All right, guys, we're going to end the stream today. A little bit of rock as usual. We'll see you guys. Thanks for coming, and we'll see you around.
Bootcamp grind, goals arise, creating wealth, no surprise. Who's can here? Teach the way, victory's ours every day. Stampede of might, every army strong. Warriors unite where they belong. Fight together, win the prize, earn the fees, time to rise. Stampede of might, every army strong. Warriors unite where they belong. Fight together, win the prize, earn the fees, time to rise. Step by step, rules before, power surges, a mighty storm. Together strong, every army might, these we conquer in the fight. Goose Gang leads, wisdom shared, battle tactics always prepared. Forge the path, victory we claim, ride the waves, no one's tame. Tactical mind, fierce and proud. Echoes of these roars shouting loud. Together we march, unbreakable chain, honor one, feast again. With every swing, with every stride, earn it all, feel the pride, Meteora's call. Hear the sound, triumph's ours, stand our ground. Down,